Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Let's talk about what happened today with the stimulus. First, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell spoke and was point blank asked if he thinks the Fed's money printing is going to lead to inflation, hyperinflation, and asset bubbles. That maybe the Federal Reserve is overdoing it and they need to lay off a little bit. Jerome Powell said no. That's not what's happening. In fact, Jerome Powell literally said that interest rates may play a part in prices of assets going up, like stocks and real estate, but there's a possibility that bubbles might be formed more by social trends and news than from the Fed's policy. This, in English or simple words here, is really just Mr. J. Powell, the dude with the money printer, going, yo, Congress, y'all just focus on doing more stimulus. Let us have zero interest rates, and don't be worried about inflation because we don't think inflation is coming. Yes, that is what Jerome Powell said. You can watch the full speech that I live streamed or my full summary that I also posted on the channel. But the point is, Jerome Powell made it crystal clear that Congress right now should not be worried about zero interest rates or doing too much stimulus. In fact, the fear is doing too little stimulus. This is an argument that he reiterated today on January 27th. You might be watching this on January 28th, which is my birthday. Check out the coupon code down below. It is a birthday coupon code, which means that coupon code is good. Well, for today, it's January 28th. Anyway, the second thing that we got today was after Republicans held a dismissal vote in the Senate on Donald Trump's impeachment, and only 5 Republicans voted to not dismiss the trial, aka have the impeachment trial. Democrats are now realizing, probably not going to get the 67 votes to impeach Trump. Maybe we should prioritize COVID relief and stimulus over the impeachment. The impeachment, after all, is something that would potentially distract from and take time away from stimulus negotiations. As a result, now, because Democrats see Republicans might be unlikely to convict Donald Trump, there might not be those 17 Republicans to convict, it is possible that Democrats will go with the direction of just censuring Donald Trump, which is a fancy way of, a censure resolution, is a fancy way of declaring that the attacks on January 6th were an insurrection and that Donald Trump is to blame for his efforts to stop the work of Congress. It's basically a fancy condemnation and trying to blame Donald Trump for what happened on January 6th. It doesn't remove him from office, so it's not an expulsion, but he's not in office anyway. It's kind of just like a black mark, which is kind of the same black mark that he would have if he got impeached anyway. The only thing that might really here be different is the House and Senate would not be able to hold the extra vote, which you can only hold after an impeachment conviction, that Donald Trump is not available or not going to be able to run again. So if they go with censure, bottom line, Donald Trump will be able to run again in 2024 if he should desire to do so. Now, remember, Donald Trump has alluded to starting the Patriot Party as a way to run for future office, and he has already opened the, quote, office of the former president to handle all of his political campaigns and, future actions, whatever those might be. Now, this creates finally some good news about stimulus, because this whole change in the impeachment dynamic and the fact that it's now been 3 weeks since the impeachment, since the Capitol raid, it's been 3 weeks already, which is crazy to believe. But anyway, we're moving on as much as we can as a society. It's still obviously going to, very likely, there's still going to be a trial, there's still going to be effects of this, and there's still going to be talk about this, but the focus right now is stimulus. And that is exactly what we got. Because remember a couple days ago, I talked about how the House was planning on voting on the next stimulus package in March. And I'm like, this is effing ridiculous. Get your act together. And why don't you get some relief flowing like you promised you would earlier? You said you'd get this done in late January, early Feb. So why don't you do it? Well, finally, we got a little bit of good news in that direction. Steny Hoyer officially today moved up a vote or created a voting opportunity next week that lets lawmakers use the budget reconciliation process to vote on the next COVID relief bill as soon as next week. Now, today is Wednesday. By the time you're watching this again, it might already be Thursday, which doesn't really give us a lot of time to actually introduce a bill. But then again, we have seen bills introduced and voted on within 5 hours. In fact, that's what happened with the $600 bill, which is quite interesting. But this is actually really good news. It is a way of suggesting, okay, if we're putting the impeachment aside, let's go. let's get the vote done on stimulus. And the fact that Steny Hoyer has now set up an opportunity to potentially, it's just a potential now, so, we can just knock on wood and we can sit here with our coffees and wait and see if they actually do anything. But anyway, it is good news to see that a vote has been scheduled. In the meantime, let's take a look at this. This is Nancy Pelosi's latest statement or letter to colleagues. We're not going to read all of it, just the most salient parts. For example, she says she's proud of the president. That's great, but this is the interesting part here. On the legislative front, we are grateful to our committee chairs who are working on coronavirus relief legislation as a basis for reconciliation. In other words, they've already got committees in the House working on putting this bill together and then getting ready to slam dunk it with the 51 vote option. This is some good news, absolutely. Should that step be needed, that is, should Democrats not get the extra 10 votes that are needed in the Senate, they're already working on Plan B. Nancy Pelosi and Biden, they're ready to roll here. Biden himself, by the way, has said he's open to using the reconciliation method if it comes down to that. So even though he really wants a bipartisan measure to go through with 60 votes in the Senate, he's okay doing the 51 vote option. And he has said, hey, maybe it won't be bipartisan. Hopefully it is. Maybe it won't be. But if it's not, at least we'll still have unity. That was an interesting distinction that he made himself in his speech. Just a couple days ago. Now, Nancy Pelosi goes on to say, we hope and expect Republicans in Congress will support assistance that will bring relief to their communities, but the need for action could not be more urgent, and Democrats will not take any tools off the table as to how the House and Senate can get this package done. In other words, sorry, Mitch McConnell, we don't care that you want a say. We are going to get this done. And Nancy Pelosi says, we are grateful to the members for their flexibility with regard to the schedule. Again, reiterating the schedule change to potentially hold votes earlier. We do then have the rest of her letter here talking about how it's been 3 weeks since the insurrection. We continue to work for our people and so on. This is the rest of Nancy Pelosi's letter. Of course, you could always pause there, screenshot, and read the rest if you wanted to read the rest of her letter. Now, remember also that Joe Biden has been in support of modifying the $1,400 stimulus checks to potentially go to a more targeted audience. We still do not have answers as to whether or not adult dependents are going to be getting the $600 plus $1,400. We do believe that adult dependents are going to get at least the $1,400. We don't know the income thresholds other than what Janet Yellen told us, which is they should be the same as last time. $75K single, $150K for a couple. We don't know if those will get capped any differently. In other news, a second police officer, unfortunately, Jeffrey Smith, has died following the Capitol Hill attack. This apparently was a death by suicide, according to the DC Metro Police. Additionally, a Washington Post investigation found that 11,200 ventilators made by a well-connected company during the Trump administration were ill-suited for COVID-19 patients and ended up sitting around in a warehouse. Finally, and let me just be very clear with the bias here, the Washington Post does lean a little bit left, but if you hear about those ventilators in the warehouse, I wanted you to know where the source is and a quick summary on that. Finally, if you are interested in learning more about the madness going on regarding GameStop stock and AMC stock skyrocketing or Tesla earnings, make sure to check out the channel and the other videos that are available that were posted today. I doubt you got most of the notifications because, well, YouTube. Anyway, make sure to get yourself 4 free stocks with Robinhood via the link down below. Click the link, sign up. You get 1 free stock within a day of signing up, and then you get 3 extra stocks by February 1st. Just make sure to use that special creator promo link down below. I have not seen any other creators who have this link, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity from Robinhood. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching the video, and folks, we will see you in the next one.